Hello again. What a joy, pleasure, honor it always is to come your way, and of course, for you to give us your time and for us to share this time together, really, and to talk about this profoundly important aspect of our lives in our common humanity. Just talking about what we are so blessed, so endowed with by our Creator. Talk about what makes us this unique species, unique group of species who are not like the other species of creation, say the animals and any other living organism, so to speak. And the fact that we as humankind, we are on top, we are the apex of the beauty, the profoundness, the power, the glory of all of creation. That is a special subject matter for us to have conversation about really for the rest of our lives, because then we need to interrogate, we need to investigate, we need to find out, we need to go on that search to discover more and more and more about the blessing and the profoundness of who we are and what our Creator has endowed us with. And in this regard, we've been discussing several topics, several themes, different aspects, looking at different angle views. And for our subject of discussion, which is still ongoing, we've been talking about the concept of the mind, the power of the mind. The mind is a profoundly unique thing, unique concept. The biology of the brain, and then of course the mind. The mindset is a product of what the brain gathers, which becomes a culmination of the way we think, which is expressed through our words, our thoughts, our actions, of course our habits, and then our values, all of which in turn affect our destiny and determines our destiny. So therefore, this is so important. We cannot overestimate, underestimate its importance, the importance of this subject matter, the mindset. And we've been considering the concept and the nature of the mindset. This is our fifth session. And just to go straight to the quote, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits, and your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. So everything about our beliefs, of course our thoughts, our actions, our words, our habits, our values, all of this culminate to bring us to our destiny. What is important here to state, again, especially to you, our young people. When I say young people, you are our target group, you are the focus of all of these conversations, particularly between the ages of 15 to 25 and to 35 and to 45, what we call the older millennials, younger millennials, the Gen Zs. What is important, what is so crucial to note here is all of these building blocks, all of these individual pillars, the belief, of course, the thoughts, the words, the actions, the habits, the values, which in turn become our destiny, are all pillars, variables, powerful forces within our control. We can determine the quality of belief, the kind of belief we embrace and build. We can determine the thought, we can determine the words, we can determine the actions, we can determine the habits, we can determine the values. In other words, we are not left as a prey to the predators of life that is so harsh, that takes us captive, that takes us prisoners, so that we become prisoners of some outward forces we have no control over. Our Creator endowed us and blessed us with the power to influence all of these, which in turn results in our destiny. It just means the kind of destiny, quality destiny we want to have, we do have control over, because all of the variables that ends up with our destiny, we do have control, we do have power, we have been endowed, we have been blessed by our Creator to influence every single one of these variables, and so therefore to determine our destiny and the outcome of it. Now, let's talk about understanding the growth and fixed mindset in our daily lives. We've talked about the fixed mindset which does not move, it's not open to deliberation, it's not open to other perspectives, other thinking, other angle views, it's not open to any point of view except where it stands. That kind of fixed mindset does not allow for any growth, any room for progress, if you like. Of course, there are things we must be fixed about. We must be fixed, literally fixed, by all means fixed. When it comes to certain moral values, when it comes to certain moral pillars, the moral compass of our lives, I mean, we must be fixed. We have to be fixed, because the moral uprightness, the moral high ground, moral integrity, the integrity we owe to people who whose lives and whose resources we hold in trust. We are bound by the simple moral code to be people of moral uprightness concerning the people's resources. That is, if we occupy positions of trust, positions of authority, positions of power, particularly in government, in governance, we are under obligation. We're under obligation to, by all means, subscribe to a certain moral, higher ground. And so these we can make the case to be fixed about. However, there's so much more we should not be fixed about, particularly when it comes to perspectives about this life and the ways to engage this life and to engage all the different aspects of life that brings us the progress, the prosperity, the bliss we also yearn and desire for. So a fixed mindset has to be in context. Okay, and we've talked quite a bit about that. Now, the growth mindset, which is the open mindset, which is open to views, to perspectives, and so on, is important for our growth and for our progress. And so let us look at a few examples of the growth and the fixed mindsets and how they are expressed in our daily lives. Here are a few examples of these two different mindsets coming into play in life. Now, fixed mindset says, I am too old to learn, versus growth mindset, which says, it is never too late to learn. So get the difference. Young people, get the difference. Young people, some of you are just 30, 35, 40, 45, and you're old already. There are people who are 60, who are 70, who think young and act young and, sort of on the young path. And, it's because it's exciting to be young, and it's great. It's a blessing, not to be old and frail such that you couldn't do much with yourself and much with life. You have the time, you have the life, you have the space, but somehow you're unable to do too much with it. Now, that's not a blessing. So the point here is the fixed mindset that says, I'm too old to learn, versus the growth mindset that says, it is never too late to learn. My submission to you and my plea to you, particularly young people, is that you will choose the growth mindset that says, it's never too late to learn. For me, And for everybody else out there, 60, 70, 80, 90, I guarantee you there are these individuals who love life and love the gift of life and are happy to be alive and want to do more and more and more, explore with their lives. There are those who are 70, 80 who want to travel and see the world and see much, much more of the world and to explore and to learn a lot more about the world in which they live. Now, that's the growth mindset. And there's a lot about the science. In other words, scientifically proven that this growth mindset that keeps you upbeat, that keeps you bubbling, that keeps you fired up. I mean, fired up with vision, such that you are not resigned. There's always something ahead of you, something you want to do, something that just keeps you alive, keeps you fired up, something that keeps you awake. This kind of posture and mindset and this kind of attitude to life, in fact, keeps you healthy. It keeps disease away from you. It keeps sickness away from you. In many of the instances, people who love life, who say nothing is too late to achieve, nothing is too late to do, they live longer. They live longer, and it's been proven, in several ways. So that's the growth mindset. Now, the fixed mindset that says, I am either good at it or I am not. Those two categorically, distinct black or white kind of approach also doesn't augur well. Now, that's the fixed mindset. There's no space for growth. There's no space, there's no accommodation for growth. Everything is either black or white, he's either angry or he's happy. There's no middle way. There has to be a lot of middle ground that accommodates growth and progress. So I'm either good at it or I'm not, versus the growth mindset, which says I can learn to do anything I want. Oh, I like that. Young people, let me tell you something. Being in the age group, which is the focus of Global Change Makers Africa, the age demographics we are concerned about and focused about between 15 to 45, I guarantee you, you are in the age demographic, you are in the age bracket that offers the greatest opportunity to be in this kind of mindset that says, I can learn to do anything I want. In fact, there are people today, as I've said, in the 50s and 60s and 70s, who will tell you they just got started. They are just about starting life and just they've lost some things. They've lost some loved ones. They've lost some precious things. Life really should have beaten them down to the extent and to the point where they wouldn't get up again and shouldn't get up again. But guess what? They wake up every morning with the power of hope and the glow of possibility thinking and this urge to push and to tell themselves, it's not too late. It's not late. And I'm not giving in. I'm not throwing in the towel. That kind of mindset is what you call the growth mindset. And that is what we must allow the positive environment and the people around us and the relationships we engage in. That's the kind of positive vibes we must allow ourselves to be impacted by. You know what it means? What it means, my friends, is that you have the power to determine and to choose who comes into your space and what they bring into your space. And you have the power to push back and to turn away toxicity, negativity, and anything and everything that will dwindle and stifle and diminish this mindset that says, I can learn to do anything I want. I can learn to do anything I want. So long as I have the time for it and I can make the time for it, I can learn to do anything I want. The fixed mindset that says, I am intimidated by the success of others, versus the growth mindset that says, looking at others succeed makes me think that I too can succeed. Wow. Wow. Now, let me throw in this caveat here, that a person can practice faith and religion, and if they don't allow the tenets of their faith, whatever faith they practice, whatever religion they practice, if they don't allow the positive, powerful tenets of their faith that releases from within them the sanctity, the sacredness, the power, the profound power of their humanity to be game changers, world changers, difference makers, if they don't allow the positive, powerful tenets of their faith, the teachings of the faith that releases them into becoming change makers, if they don't allow that to happen, but rather allow some negative philosophies, negative ideas, some negative concepts, negative, thoughts to dominate their whole lives, then they are going to be locked in this place where seeing others and their success becomes bitter, and you are angry when you see others succeed. Again, I don't know too much about the rest of the world, about the rest of Africa, but I know a little bit about Ghana, where I come from. That this is one negative tendency, human tendency we need to deal with. Now, I've said this a few times, and people have argued with me, well, but the whole world is like that, everybody's like that. It's not true. It's not quite true. I have been in other places where people are just celebrated. Oh, that's a nice car. Where did you get this car? Oh, that's a nice hair. Who did this hair? Oh, that's a nice shirt. Oh, that's a nice pants, nice jeans. Oh, oh, your food is nice. That's a nice house. Oh, that's a nice this. I mean, people just celebrate. Yes, people are negative everywhere, but guess what? I think in my great beloved country, Ghana, this negative thing is a bit too prevalent here. And it's all because of this negative, toxic, fixed mindset, which we have as a people, and probably don't even know that we do have this as a people. I've told the story of this gentleman who unzipped to pee. He literally peed in the public open space in this very expensive environment in this place called Cantonment. It wasn't a bush area, very, well-kept area. He just urinated there, just didn't care. And there were people in the bus waiting for him to pee, encouraging him to pee. And afterwards, he went and sit in the car. Of course, I had the opportunity of shouting at him, screaming at him, hey, what's that? And he had help from the people in the bus to, as it were, shut me down, tell me, mind your own business. Now, that's a devaluing mindset, it's a devaluing mentality. It's not just breaking of norms by urinating out there in the public, but to desecrate and to devalue property of value. In any case, you shouldn't even pee anywhere. You shouldn't pee or defecate anywhere. But this mindset seems to be normal with people because remember the belief system that engages the thoughts and the words and the actions and then the habits and then the values. So people's value system really directly is connected with the belief and the mindset. This guy just believed that it's okay to urinate and pee out there. That's a devaluing mindset. That's a mindset that is intimidated by success of others or can be intimidated by the success of others. But guess what? We need to develop, young people, we need to develop the growth mindset that says, I am excited by the success of others. I'm encouraged by the success of others. I am fired up by the success of others. I'm inspired by people's success. I know that it's not easy to say that when you are down. It's not easy to say when you are the low ebb. You know, it's not really easy to say when you are the other end of the line. It's not really easy. It's not quite easy. But guess what? I can tell you that the more you rejoice with people, the more you are happy with people, the healthier you get. In fact, the returns, the benefits to you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and all otherwise can amaze you and blow your mind. The fact that you are happy for another person, that individual, for their success. Let me just take it again. The fixed mindset says, I am intimidated by the success of others, because it's a closed mindset. It's a narrow mindset. It's a boxed in mindset. This is how it is expressed. Intimidation by the success of others. But the growth mindset says, I look at others succeed and I feel like I can succeed too. It's not competition. It's complementary. You're fired up. You are inspired. This is the kind of mindset we should be engaging and developing. Fixed mindset says, I struggle with this area, so I cannot help. Versus the growth mindset that says, this is not my area of expertise, but I can always contribute. I can always contribute. Again, that's one thing we have in this part of the world, Ghana, where people are shut down, you know, for wanting to contribute, not really allowed to contribute. People are dismissed, you know, just dismissed. And we have them all over public life, you know, social life, religious life, faith life, across the entire spectrum, where people just shut people down, look down on people. Well, he didn't go to my elite school or my Ivy League school or whatever league school, and so he's not really in my class, so he should not talk. And people just consciously intimidate and make people feel, you know, unworthy to open their mouths to contribute. So there are people who can just, you know, be quiet in a conversation, not because they want to be quiet per se, but because there's this sense of intimidation that tells people you don't belong here. And so the desire, the joy to participate in, you know, in a common conversation is not there. Again, that the growth mindset encourages respect, deals with people respectfully, just so you can engage their thoughts as well. So again, the fixed mindset that says, I struggle with this area, so I cannot help. That can be helped with the growth mindset that says, it's not my area of expertise, but I can intelligently contribute. I can intelligently contribute. That is the growth mindset. Now, how mindsets can hinder, and we need to clarify that, is really the negative mindset, okay? The fixed mindset, the toxic mindset, because the mindset can be so fixed till it gets toxic, till it gets poisoned, it gets negative, just gets bad, okay? Now, while mindsets can be self-preserving, the fixed nature of mindsets can be illogical and limiting. Why is it illogical and limiting? It is limiting, we all understand, because the fixed mindset is closed. I'm too old to learn anything new. And sometimes people are very subjective with the word old. I mean, the term old, the number old. How old is old? Because I've seen people who at 45 feel they are too old. You know, some of these cultures around here, where I come from here, you know, they go, oh, I'm too old. I'm a little too old. Well, what is old, by the way? These days, it's not, you know, they used to say life begins at 40, but it's really more than 40 now. There are researches and different positions now that suggest that people can actually start shooting up from the age of 58, 55 and over. Some even say 60 plus. Some even suggest that a lot of case study shows that between 60 to 70, 75 is when a person really peaks. So if the person 45 is saying they're too old, then what is it? What about the people who in their 60s, 70s feel like they just got started and they've acquired so much mileage in terms of experience, so they are richer in their texture of wisdom and in their quality of wisdom? How about that? My point is simple. That fixed posture, that fixed mindset, that fixed mentality that says, oh, I'm too old and so I cannot learn anything. Even at 75, you're still not too old to learn anything new. So that is limiting to sort of lock yourself in there and say, I'm too old to learn anything. And then it is illogical. It's illogical because there are several case studies around that has shown that there is a lot of, examples, a lot of examples that suggests that there's a lot that can still be done. It's life and health and well-being and the positive mentality and a positive mindset to push and to drive yourself. Really, that matters. For me, it is these variables in the equation of life that matters the most. So therefore, young people, if the guy at 75 years old is not really allowed to say, I'm too old, and this is it, then you at 15, you at 25, you at 35, you at 45 can never say, should never say, you are too old to do some things, because life is still open before you. So the mindset that is toxic, that is fixed, and that is locked in a box and locked in a hole is illogical, and then it's limiting. Now, this happens when we make the mistake, or when we mistake individual experience for universal. Again, this is what makes it even more debilitating, and that is your experience and how bad it's been with you and for you does not mean the whole world is like that. I've said it here before. This very, very precious lady, bless her darling heart and bless her soul, and she would say things like, oh, as for you men, oh, all men. And I'm like, as for you men, how many men do you know? How many men have you known anyway? And incidentally, she's known only one husband. She's blessed to have known only one husband, been married to only one husband, but she'll tell you, well, but I have siblings, I have brothers, I've seen people, I've seen men. Well, there are over 3 billion men. So to make that sweeping statement, all men, as for you men, and it goes the other way too, as for women, all women are like that, to just, blanketly brush a situation, whether it's the gender group or whatever, with one brush color because of one individual's experience is the expression, the characteristics, the nature of a fixed mindset that is short, that is lived, that is myopic, that is small-minded, that is not right. It's not the growth mindset. So this kind of thinking can hinder progress and can hinder life generally. And most of the time, I will tell you, friends, it doesn't matter the faith you practice, it doesn't matter the religion you practice, it doesn't matter your faith or religion, it doesn't even matter your spirituality. If you are blocked up here in your mind such that you have a fixed, locked, blocked mindset, you are really going nowhere in spite of your faith and your religion and your spirituality or whatever it may be. And so this is important, young people. This is important. This is important for us to appreciate and understand that mindsets that is fixed can hinder life, literally cut you short from the vast, vast possibilities that's ahead of you. For example, it might have been helpful to believe that others cannot be trusted if you were betrayed at a young age. But this belief may lead to interpersonal issues at a later stage of life. That means if you've been hurt or disappointed, really, really disappointed, your trust broken, literally broken, crushed at a young age, for that moment as a young individual who's been broken, crushed, betrayed, and you feel really betrayed, and so the tendency is to generalize. Now, at that young age, you could be excused and you could be allowed to, but later on in life, as you grow older, it could give you problems, and it will give you problems, whether in your marriage life, in your private life, in your personal life, in all of the interpersonal relationships. It will give you problems. Why? Because of the tendency or the temptation to have taken a fixed position because of what you went through, what happened to you at the young age, which you have now carried over into the adult age. The expectation is that at the adult age, you are maturing, you're growing, your perspectives are enriched, your experiences are not, as it were, seen in a little box, just boxed up in a little cage, in a little space. You are able to put things in context. That's what growth does for all of us. Growth gives our experiences perspective, it gives it context, it gives it understanding. So we're able to position the experiences and, as it were, get the best value from the experiences. That's different from when you and I were young. Those experiences are negative and totally negative, and we see no value in the experiences. But growing up, we would see value in the experiences, and that's what brings a new perspective and new context to the experience. Now, the fixed mindset, and again, its danger is to look at life and look at your experiences like a little kid who sees no value and therefore generalizes everything and generalizes everybody, as we have rightly said. So therefore, in all of our interpersonal relationships all round, whether it's marriage, whether it's private, whether it's personal, whether it's business, whichever, the fixed mindset which was allowable at the young age. For example, nobody can be trusted because your trust was broken, your trust was betrayed, and so you found yourself locked in this corner, in this space, in this box where nobody can be trusted because it was okay, it was allowable for you as a young child, young person to think in those terms. That posture, that mental attitude, that mindset cannot be carried over into your adult life. Why? Because by the time you're an adult, your perspective in life would have been enriched. You understand context. You can put that experience in context. You can bring better perspectives to it. You see value in what was otherwise a very bitter experience where your trust was betrayed. You learn a lot about human weakness. You learn that people can be cruel. People do have weaknesses and all of that. You even learn the complexities of the human behavior, human thinking, and all of that. And so, again, on this point, I kind of want to encourage you by saying, if there's anything you and I must do, it is to do everything and anything we can to go after the growth mindset so that we're not hindered, but instead helped to advance in life. I want to thank you very much again for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, like, share, subscribe. If there's anything you do, please like, share, subscribe. And until we see you again the next time, take good care of yourself and be blessed.